Hi, it's called CWE Manuel, and Afro-psychologist is my brand. I previously mentioned the importance of the need for psychological intervention. Particularly, I delved into the importance of sexual health and well-being. And I actually frowned at the fact that there isn't a form of psychological intervention in some certain environment. Whilst it is the case that when it comes to sexual education, it's quite, even up till now, as we live in an advanced world, it's a thing that people still kind of frown at when they think about one's sex or something you have to talk about sexual well-being outside in the open within the social context. Now, what I'm going to be talking about today is the need for understanding the importance of problems and challenges when it comes to psychological well-being and when it comes to an environment that do not readily embrace the concept of psychological intervention in terms of sexual well-being and sexual health. Now, I do not subscribe to language delusion when it comes to explicating the difference between challenges and the difference between problems, between challenges, the use of the word challenges and problems. And I explain in terms of psychological intervention. I mentioned previously in my previous videos the different kind of sexual dysfunction that we have in males and in females. I mentioned erectile dysfunction. I also, what I didn't delve into in terms of the totality is nature and nurture. Now, when you think about nature, just think along the medical line. And when you think in nurture, then that's where psychological intervention creeps in. Now, in sort of highlighting the difference between the challenge and problem where this is concerned is when you look at an environment that do not readily embrace psychological intervention into their healing process, then you're looking at a huge problem. And I'll explain that in a while. When you look at an environment that already have psychological intervention in place, then they may have challenges in applying those psychological interventions in the clinical setting. The need for understanding the concept between medical intervention and psychological intervention is paramount. It's important because, one, it helps you to overcome some sort of challenges that you might have in a situation where you're having difficulties with your sexual life in your marriage or in your relationship. The importance of psychological intervention is such that cannot be overlooked, because when you do that, you're one, as a person in charge of exhibiting duty of care, for example, you're looking at a complete and total failure in giving such measures that could help human beings to overcome their psychological challenges. And that is interesting, using the word challenge and using the word problem. It is a problem when you, as being in a situation where you have to exhibit duty of care to a multitude of individuals, do not even have a clue that such an intervention exists. That is not a challenge, that is a problem. it is reality. It is harmful. Hence, the use of the term problem. Now, in dealing with problem and challenge, they both have different dynamics and different strategies. When you have a problem, you apply a different dynamics and different strategy in ensuring you get a solution for that problem. When you have challenge or challenges, you apply different dynamics. So a man with a sexual dysfunction, which isn't from birth, and all of a sudden develops a sexual dysfunction, which I've mentioned before, could be as a factor of age, could be as a factor of various environmental factors that are having having a huge impact in, as of that particular time. I've just actually declined the call, which as of that particular time is impeding in their relationship, interrelationship, psychological well-being. So what is the function of maybe policymakers, for example, that should actually be looking at ways in which people within that social environment can have the best possible healthcare? I'll leave that to you. But now, let's actually talk about the word challenge. In the UK, for example, we have various psychosexual interventions. We have different psychotherapy or psychotherapeutic pathway in which we apply to understand people's sexual health, sexual need, in terms of relationship, in terms of marriage, like a marriage counselor, a marriage therapist, relationship counselor. And they're experts in their various fields. So you have a clinical sexologist being an expert in terms of looking at sexual difficulties and problems and challenges within a relationship. They're trained, they've gone through years of trying to understand sexuality, the physiology of the composition of a man and a woman's body. I did mention in the previous video that this is something that we as psychosexual consultants do not actually examine the penis or the vulva. We do not examine the vagina. We do not examine the genitalia. But what we do is we're well equipped to understand various psychological challenges that people might be having at a given point in time. I am Gold C.W. Emmanuel, and in my next video I'll be talking about, or rather elucidating, natural causes of erectile dysfunction and environmental causes of erectile dysfunction. And when I mean environmental, I mean nurture. All right then, until next time, see ya.